I'm happy to be part of this group. It's kind of an honor. Despite all these advancements that we've had in modern healthcare and in modern medicine, we've seen an increase in these adverse health events and a decrease, actually, in overall life expectancy. And so for the first time in generations, our children's lives are expected to be shorter than ours. And of course, we want our children to live longer, healthier, happier lives. And most parents would do just about anything to make this happen, right? So for help to solve this, I look to moms and babies, because healthy babies make healthy adults. And I'm passionate about improving the future health of future Idahoans. This upstream approach to healthcare as a preventative base actually saves us healthcare dollars, but it leads to healthier health outcomes. So how do we make healthy babies? You've probably heard the expression, breast is best, when referring to breastfeeding. And in fact, we attribute a whole range of positive outcomes in the protective effects of breastfeeding, everything from obesity to your lifetime earning potential, or even owning a home, regardless of the size of that home. That's a lot of pressure to put on a mom to breastfeed, especially since we don't even really know the mechanisms of this protection or how or if it's true. And I want to understand then exactly how it might be true, how breast milk impacts infant immune and brain development, and how mom's health may actually impact that. So this makes me think about breast milk a lot. I spent a lot of time thinking about this triad, this dynamic system of maternal health, the breast milk composition, and the little developing human that actually gets it and gets these cues for development. And we're beginning to learn that most, if not all, systems of the body actually follow like a daily circadian pattern, including the immune system. We also know that a newborn hasn't established this pattern until later in life and is actually dependent upon mom for these proper cues for development. What is unknown, though, however, is if these disturbances or how could change these patterns of these cues and affect the development and ultimately the health of these little developing Idahoans. What we do know is disturbances in this pattern in adults lead to negative health outcomes. This has been most studied in shift workers, right? Those individuals that are working nights and they have a naturally disturbed pattern of their sleeping and their awakening, right? And it's been associated with an increased risk of various health issues, including inflammatory diseases, ultimately, decrease in life expectancy. Now, who's more stressed out and sleep deprived than new moms? Even if you're not a mom, you know a mom. At the very least, you can imagine the demands of a new infant of all hours of the day and night. We need to know if new moms' stress and lack of sleep affect these cues in their breast milk and how this affects their babies. We need to know if we have been inadvertently turning our babies into shift workers, disturbing their development and potentially decreasing their life expectancy. I've been working with an interdisciplinary team of researchers here at Idaho WWAMI and the U of I to study just this. Besides the moms in our studies, right, the cornerstone is the team of students that do this for me, medical and undergraduate students, some of them here today, that do the real work of this. Notice that brand, Dr. Groza? So we're discovering that breast milk is actually more dynamic than we previously thought. Those active immune cues are actually changing throughout the day, in time, with mom's sleep and potentially her stress patterns. We found that cortisol, thought of, right, as the stress hormone, does not actually follow the patterns of the breast milk or of the infant, as previously believed. In fact, infant cortisol matches breast milk, and it's a lot higher in both of those than in mom. It's in comparison to mom's levels throughout the day. This suggests an even more complicated relationship within this triad than we previously believed. further supports our hypothesis and the need to study this complex relationship to provide optimal support for moms caring for these developing infants. Thank you for joining me today in a topic that's not just about stress and sleep, but about improving the future health of future Idahoans. I'm always happy to chat about this more. And go Vandals.